Wonderful. Well, thank you all so much for joining us. It is Monday, May 8th, 2023, and we're learning about online reputation management with Susan Joyce. Employers leverage technology to learn as much as possible about job candidates, hoping to avoid the expensive mistake of making a bad hire. However, most of us do not carefully manage our online visibility, so we can disqualify ourselves from a job because of these online activities. So in this session, we're going to learn how to manage our online reputation to minimize mistakes that may cost you opportunities. And this presentation is led by Susan Joyce, who's the president of NETability, Inc., and she's the former publisher and editor of jobhunt.org. So let's see, I can't even tell, all 43 of us, let's give a big virtual round of applause to Susan for joining us this afternoon. And Susan, you can take it away. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Robert. That's a lovely introduction. I hope you all learn a lot from this today. This is a new project for all of us. This is something most of us, especially if we're over 50, we've never worried about really in our lives. But now, unfortunately, we need to be paying attention to this. So let me get rolling. Google is the new resume. That is absolutely true. And the person who said that to me in 2009 is a really, really, really smart man named Dick Bowles. He's the author of What Color's Your Parachute? Unfortunately, we lost Dick about 5 years ago, but I will never forget him telling me that. And it was like, wow, he was so right so long ago. That's almost 15 years ago. The way employers look at this, a bad hire is a very expensive mistake. Whether you're the recruiting or the hiring manager, it can really damage your career. So their primary concerns really are, can you do this job? Will you do this job? And will you fit into the group? The interesting thing is that the vast majority of employers, they've done surveys on this, would rather miss a good hire than make a bad hire. So they're very, very defensive. They're very concerned. So we need to be paying attention. Employers use Google to find you or someone else with the right qualifications or someone else with the same name. Confirm your resume facts or not, because people, over the decades, we all know people who have kind of exaggerated a teensy bit on their resumes, maybe exaggerated a lot. They want to observe your skills, see your knowledge, understand more about you as a person. And they want to be able to contact you. And this is the critical part. I've spoken with so many recruiters who are so frustrated. They find the right person, the right LinkedIn profile, and there's no way to reach the person unless they want to pay Google or want to pay LinkedIn thousands of dollars to use LinkedIn Recruiter. They can't contact you. So I'll get into how you can make that easier for them and easier for you too. So 92% of employers recruit with social media today. They really pay attention to it. They post jobs on it and they look for qualified candidates. 54% have eliminated candidates based on what they found in social media. And I'll show you more about what they found that caused them to eliminate people. More than 70% of employers research candidates before hiring them. They research before they send an interview invitation, and they research before they make the job offer. Sometimes both times. Usually at least before the interview invitation, and so often before the job offer, because the last thing they want to do is make that bad hire. So examples of what they don't want to find. They don't want to find that you've used marijuana in the last year, although that seems to be declining as a concern. They're concerned about political rants, and they really hate spelling and grammar errors. They're worried about too much alcohol. They're also worried, interestingly, about limited social presence. If you're not online, if you're not visible enough online, then maybe you're out of date, or maybe you're hiding something, or there's something else wrong. So you can see the things that have concerned them. Now, this comes to what I call defensive Googling. That's knowing what Google shows them about you. So using myself as an example, you want to do a search, open a Google search page, and then type your name inside of quotation marks. I am officially Susan P. Joyce. Now, when you search Susan P. Joyce, you find my NETability profile and my website. Now, the fact that I ran Job Hunt for nearly 25 years and we had 2 million visitors a month was not as impressive as my LinkedIn profile. LinkedIn definitely ranks first. But when you're doing your defensive Googling, you want to check at least the first 2 pages of search results and see what's there. Is there something negative about you? Is there someone else with the same name who's doing something very negative that could reflect on you? Never forget this really smart young job seeker. He was in his late 20s, which to me was young. And he was a techie guy, and he was a good techie guy, and he would apply for a job and not hear anything. Zip. And he and I finally talked about it one day, and I Googled his name. And the name he was using for his resumes and his applications and his LinkedIn profile was the same name of someone in Massachusetts, an attorney who'd been disbarred and who was named in a Supreme Court obscenity case. So of course nobody wanted to hire a disbarred attorney who does obscenity. So we changed his name so that he went from just like William Jones to William Arthur Jones, because we had to use his middle name. And he was hired within a month because he differentiated himself from the bad guy. So check what's there that might be about you or that an employer might think is about you. And repeat that. Doing it today doesn't mean it won't change in another week or another month. And after your first search, do a Google verbatim search. And the reason I recommend that you do that is because what Google will show you when you do a regular search is Google pays attention to what you click on when you see search results. So it customizes the searches to something that's the most interesting to you. A verbatim search is a search that's not customized. So that's what Google shows most other people or will show other people, depending on what their search history is. So to do verbatim, you go to the search results page, you click on tools, select all results, and then choose incognito. And that will give you what Google is showing most of the world about you. Here's verbatim results, and you'll see verbatim results searching me. There is LinkedIn and Job Hunt, and then there's Facebook and Amazon. And I'll get into more about the other places you can build your visibility. Okay, analyze the first 5 pages of search results. You can see here, if I do a search on Susan Joyce, there's an actress. I mean, I think she's in her 80s now. But when you do a search on Susan Joyce, the only thing you find on the first 2 pages are things about her. Now, that's sort of the good news. It could have been maybe she was a bank robber, but fortunately she wasn't. But someone else could be dominating the results, and it could be someone who's done something evil, like breaking the law, someone who posts nasty political content. I mean, there could be more than one. So you need to pay attention to what's there when someone searches your name. If that version of your name isn't anyone who would ruin your reputation or visibility, consider using that version of your name. But pay close attention to it even after you search and find that it's okay. Okay, if you do find someone an employer would not want to hire when you use the most common version of your name or the version that you like the most, find a clean version of your name. And do this by searching for other versions of your name. So a more formal version like James versus Jim, a more complete version, one that includes your middle initial, or like the tech guy did, the whole middle name. If you're a woman, you can use your maiden name in the middle, either as an initial or the whole word. Or you can write senior or junior or third, whatever works. And of course, the less formal version, if that would be better. So do the search and find the cleanest version of your name. And by a clean version of your name, I mean a version of your name that doesn't have anybody associated with it that an employer wouldn't want to hire or someone wouldn't want to work with. So if Google does show you an evil twin, first, change the version of your name that you're using professionally. Find that clean version and then claim that clean version with LinkedIn. As we've seen, LinkedIn is the most powerful. Then clean up what you can clean up about what you have created and published online yourself. And what you can't clean up, push down in Google search results so that an employer won't see it. Typically and interestingly, they don't usually look past the first page of Google search results. And if you think about it, when we're doing our Google searching, we seldom look past the first page either. Most of the time they won't. Then differentiate yourself as much as possible from the person, the evil twin, with your name, your headshot, your location, your profession. Be as different as you can be so that it's obvious to employers that you aren't that disbarred attorney. Okay, success strategies. Monitoring and measuring your online visibility. Set up Google Alerts on your name, the public version of your name, the version of your name that you're going to be using. And you might also want to check and see, if you've got an evil twin, what's the evil twin doing lately? Your profession, your brand, your topic, whatever's important to you as far as keywords and keyword phrases, things that people would use to apply to you. Maybe you're the world's greatest secretary or the world's greatest project manager. And also check and see what's going on with your target employers. And hopefully you have some target employers and create a Google alert on them to see what's going on with them. And schedule the alerts as it happens. So you don't have to wait a month. If somebody using your name robs a bank, that'll show up in the news in Google and you'll get an alert as soon as it happens. And then observe people with strong brands, emulate and kind of benchmark what they do. Don't copy it, but see how they manage their names and their visibility. There's some smart people out there doing that. Now, we've heard the best defense is a good offense. Originally, that was apparently said by George Washington back in 1799. However, more recently, we've heard it from Bill Belichick. Not surprising, he's a pretty big winner too. But the best defense is definitely a good offense, and that's what you need to work on. So, employed or not, you've got to manage your reputation. So monitor your online reputation, do that Google search at least monthly, and have those Google alerts set up. Clean up the digital dirt that you can. Now, not all of it will be removable because you won't have created all of it. Some of it will be on social media and you can get rid of it because it's in your account. Some of it will be in a friend's social media account and you can ask them to remove it and they'll remove it. Sometimes it's something that's published by a news source and sometimes they will remove it. Most of the time they won't, but sometimes they will. It just depends on where that digital dirt is. And then this is where you start pushing the dirt that you can't remove off the first page of Google search results with your own positive content, stuff that you have created and you have published and you own and manage. Stay positive and professional online. Don't create any more digital dirt. Maybe you hate a politician, but don't rant about that, because we've seen employers don't like political rants. Stay as clean as you can, and then do your defensive Googling. Now, a company called Norton, which does cybersecurity, they have this 8-step cybersecurity guide, and this is the summary. Feel free to Google this and read the details. It's a long article on their website. It's a good article. Find all of your social media accounts. Make the accounts private until you've cleaned them up. And then you might want to make them public or not. It's up to you. Delete your inappropriate posts and comments, and deactivate any unused accounts. So if you've got an account you're not doing anything with, it's just old and moldy, delete it. Clean up your followers and friends. You know, if you're following somebody you shouldn't be following, stop it. And unfollow inappropriate accounts, and then use appropriate profile pictures. No pictures of yourself smoking pot or taking a big drink, or, you know, anything that negative, as we've seen, that employers will avoid. And routinely update your passwords so that it's not easy for you to be hacked. All right, building a positive online reputation. So, this is how you push that bad visibility off the first page of Google search results with your LinkedIn profile. That's your most powerful weapon. It really is. You can also use Twitter, at least for a while. Maybe Twitter is going to go away. I don't know. It looks a little shaky right now, but Google still trusts it. Amazon reviews. If you buy things on Amazon, you can write reviews for them on Amazon. And that can get you credibility, especially if what you're buying is related to what you do. You can publish ebooks on Amazon, and it won't cost you anything. It's really amazing. I'll get into more details about that in a couple of minutes. You can start your own blog and do blog posts. You can post videos on YouTube and TikTok. The most powerful search engine in the world right now is Google. The second most powerful search engine in the world is YouTube, which is, by the way, owned by Google. So posting anything, I can't do videos, but if somebody else can do a video, the video can be posted on YouTube or TikTok. And then do guest posts. If you can write well on the topic, see if you can do guest posts on other blogs and other websites. And then there's plenty of other social media visibility that has good credibility. There's a site called medium.com where you can post content. You can actually create a blog on Medium. They'll own it, but you can create it there, and it's got good visibility there and good credibility. There's also a site called Quora.com, Quora, where you can answer questions. And then there's Reddit, and subreddit is a part of Reddit by topic. You can answer questions there. So you'll be helping people, and you'll be building your own visibility and credibility at the same time. LinkedIn provides wonderful social proof. As we've seen, close to 100% of recruiters Google applicants. And Google trusts LinkedIn. And LinkedIn offers many, many, many opportunities to share your accomplishments and to demonstrate your knowledge. I'll get into that more later. If recruiters can't find anything about you online, 47% of them will ignore you. And right now, LinkedIn is the most credible proof you can have. This is a Lee Hecht Harrison survey of employers. asking asking hiring managers which social media platforms they preferred. Guess which came in first? Your LinkedIn profile is your resume on steroids. Much more credibility. And the reason is what you put on your LinkedIn profile is public to your friends and to people you work with. So if you fib on it, you're less likely to fib on it. There's somebody that I worked with about 20 years ago, and she fibbed on her LinkedIn profile pretty substantially, and most of us just disconnected from her. It was really disappointing. Okay, another survey: which of the following tactics do you use for recruiting on social networks? And LinkedIn is where they search for candidates and contact candidates and keep tabs on candidates. And by the way, employers also will typically will Google employees as well as people they're considering hiring. So after you get a job, doesn't mean you can stop worrying about your online profile. You need to worry about it whether you're employed or not. Facebook is used to vet candidates, as we've seen, and Twitter is used to find them and to vet them. But clearly, LinkedIn is the top of the pile. So when they're looking at a candidate's social profile, excuse me, 97% of them will use LinkedIn for the professional experience. Only 20% will use Facebook. Length of professional tenure, LinkedIn 96%, Facebook 14%. Industry-related posts, 88% on LinkedIn, 27% on Facebook. You can see the closest that Facebook comes to LinkedIn is in cultural fit. 46% of employers will look at Facebook to find your cultural fit versus 80% looking on LinkedIn, but still LinkedIn leads, obviously. So why LinkedIn? It's your best Google visibility. Google puts it at the top of the first page of search results usually. You control what LinkedIn tells the world about you. That's the best part of it. You control it. You're in charge. And 47% of recruiters will ignore you if they can't find you online. We've seen that. So put yourself in the shoes of the employer. Who would you interview? You have 10 applicants with the same qualifications. 3 have LinkedIn profiles with rich detail and information about them, including recommendations, which recruiters love to find recommendations on LinkedIn profiles, and examples of accomplishments, and examples of communication skills and personality. So 3 of those have good LinkedIn profiles. 3 of them have skimpy LinkedIn profiles. 2 of them only have unprofessional Facebook visibility, and 2 of them have no online visibility. Who do you think you would interview? I think 99% of us would choose the first group, the people with the highly detailed LinkedIn profiles. That's the most knowledgeable source you've got about the people who are applying for the job. Unless you're really desperate, those are the 3 you'd interview. And let's assume in this case, no candidate was referred by an employee. And by the way, in case you aren't aware of it, an employee referral is absolutely the best way to get hired. So let's focus on the right keywords and content for you so that you're found on LinkedIn and elsewhere. Your name, obviously, your most important keywords. Use one version of your name for all your professional visibility, your LinkedIn profile, your resumes and applications. If a recruiter gets a great resume, but they can't find the LinkedIn profile that confirms the details on those resumes because it's a different name on the resume, excuse me, in most cases, that applicant will be ignored. So you want to really make it easy for employers and recruiters to connect your LinkedIn profile with your resume or application. You also want to add your LinkedIn profile URL to your email signature, your business email signature, and your business cards. Make it really easy for somebody to find the right LinkedIn profile for you. Really, add it to all your professional visibility is my recommendation. So, your LinkedIn profile can look like this: Mary Elizabeth Smith -42918B10. Okay, that's awkward, not particularly memorable, and it's going to be easy to screw up with a typo or two or three, especially the numbers. So you can edit that very easily. If you go to the home page of your LinkedIn profile on a computer, and in the upper right corner it says Edit URL. This is what you do. You can change that. If nobody else is using the name, you could change it to Mary Elizabeth Smith, or Mary-Elizabeth-Smith, or even Mary_Elizabeth_Smith. Or you could add some marketing. You could be Mary Elizabeth Smith -MBA, Mary Elizabeth Smith -Boston, Mary Elizabeth Smith -social media marketing. You've got 256 characters available. There's a friend of mine, a colleague, who's really, really very good at LinkedIn. And his LinkedIn URL is linkedin.com/in/president. Just one word. He's been a LinkedIn member for like 19 years, so he grabbed that before anybody else did. I think that's very funny. But I also, if you've got the time and the interest, check him out. Smart guy. Okay, words versus keywords. Sometimes people don't understand the difference. Words are generic. Keywords are the terms we use for search. Okay? Generic, experienced marketing professional. Ugh. Manager, and we've also got unemployed. Those are generic. Social media marketing analyst, that's a job title. IT project manager, not MIS project manager, and not project management professional. And if you look at what the employer calls your target job title, do they spell out project manager? Do they use project manager? What do they do? Pay attention to what the employer does and use that, your target employers. The right keywords spelled correctly. Remember, we've got MIS project manager there. And I've done searches in Google of LinkedIn, and there are millions of mangers in LinkedIn, and it's because manger is not a misspelling. I mean, it's incorrect most cases, but anyway. And the right keywords have the least competition and the most recruiter interest. So pay attention to your keywords. Okay, when recruiters are searching for qualified candidates, they search using the terms in the job description of the job they're filling. So most often they use the job title. They also use the skills required, the experience required, the education or certifications required, and the location of the job for non-remote jobs. And even for remote jobs, employers have to pay payroll taxes. So they're going to likely be interested in the state you're in at least. And the names of former employers. I mean, I'm thinking about all the people who've been laid off by Google and Facebook and Amazon. There are a bunch of employers who are going to want to hire those people based on the experience they've had working for those companies. I'm sorry they got laid off. I'm very sorry they got laid off, but I think having a good former employer can be very helpful. Okay, the foundation of your social proof is LinkedIn. Profile key requirements: target job title, skills, education, certification, and location, as we've seen. Then before inviting you to an interview, they do a search of your name for proof you're up to date, for demonstration of your knowledge and skills, for indication of your personality, if they can find that, and for evaluation of your fit in the organization. And as we've seen, LinkedIn is the most trusted and used source. LinkedIn basics: be visible on LinkedIn, have a complete LinkedIn profile with the right keywords for your future. Have a public LinkedIn profile. Once your profile is complete, make sure it's public. Make your name public and make your picture public. Because if they aren't public, you won't be seen. Or if you're seen, you won't be clicked on in the search results. It has to be public. They want to see that face associated with the picture, with the profile. Connections, the more are better, but do them carefully. There are a lot of salespeople who are trying to connect, and there's a lot of scumbags trying to connect. So check the profile of someone, excuse me, check the profile of someone before you accept an invitation to connect. Then be active on LinkedIn. Share 1 or 2 updates a week, and write posts that provide useful information and that demonstrate what you know. Comment on the posts of others, again, providing useful information and demonstrating your knowledge, and more than just great thanks. I mean, that's nice, but that's not very useful for you. And then join and contribute to LinkedIn groups, especially the ones that are relevant to your target profession and industry and employer. Then be reachable on LinkedIn. This is required. Complete the contact info section on LinkedIn with non-work email and phone, and I'll get into more about how to do that, how to make it non-mail and non-work, and also preferably not your home email address either. It depends. I'm kind of paranoid about having a lot of personal information visible about me online. And I think that's smart. And then you need to have at least 50 connections, and more are definitely better. These are great ways to build your network and to show up in LinkedIn search results when a recruiter searches. Because the search results typically just search through the first, second, and third level of connections on LinkedIn. They don't search through all of LinkedIn. And group memberships enable you to have private group messaging, and it also shows you to people you aren't connected to. Okay, being reachable. Public permanent contact information, a non-work phone number. I recommend Google Voice or something similar to Google Voice. You can use your own home phone number if you want to. I'm cautious about that because the home phone number can be reverse looked up and somebody can find out where you live using that. So I'm cautious about that. Or you can use your cell phone number. But non-work is best because if you publish your work contact information and a recruiter calls you at work, you can get fired. It's happened. A non-work email address that won't be impacted if you change locations. So get rid of AOL, Yahoo, Excite, and Hotmail. Those kind of label you as old. You can get your own domain name for about $20 a year to register the domain name, and then $10 or so a month to pay for the hosting of your email. You can also go to your college, see if they, many colleges offer free email to alums, so you could be your name at alum.school.edu. You can, of course, go to Gmail and get a free email address from Gmail. And there are some other respected national providers. If you Google public email addresses, you'll find a lot of other email providers. You'll find a lot of other sources. And add the contact information to the bottom of your About section as well as to the contact info section on your profile, so that it makes it very visible whether someone is using LinkedIn Recruiter or not. LinkedIn visibility featured options. This is a part of your profile, kind of in the top third of your profile, where you choose what is featured on your profile. And you can feature your LinkedIn posts, comments on others' posts. You can feature your articles that you've written on LinkedIn or that you've written elsewhere. You can feature your latest LinkedIn newsletter. And you can link to your off LinkedIn visibility. It's really nice, and it's very near the top of your profile. So if someone is scrolling down, they'll find it and see it. And then in addition to featured, you can add new sections to your profile. And they've got wonderful options here. You know, publications, projects, patents, honors and awards, volunteering, other professional organizations. And if you can speak another language, communicate well in another language, you can actually have another LinkedIn profile which demonstrates your ability to speak and to communicate in more than one language. So you can see here all the different ones. Now, maybe you've got a patent, and I'm not sure about test scores. Maybe somebody in the group finds test scores relevant. So there's a lot of areas that you can add. This is in Add to Profile, Additional. There's Core, Recommended, and then Additional. And projects, particularly, if you've worked on some big projects in your job, write them up. Don't share anything that's confidential to that employer, but share what you accomplished in that project and demonstrate how well you do that kind of project. Okay, when recruiters search for qualified candidates, you need to be findable. This is the public profile. Again, that's in the settings, the privacy. Make your profile public on and off LinkedIn. And then use up-to-date keywords used by your target employers. And make your headshot always visible. That's, again, in your privacy settings. And make your full name visible. LinkedIn does allow you to make just your first name and your initial for your last name visible, but make the full name visible. So if somebody's looking for you, they find you. And have at least 10 skills and endorsements. Only 3 will be visible, but they're great keywords and they really help you to be found, especially when they have endorsements. And the recommendations, as I said, the recommendations, recruiters love to see those recommendations. It's the first, second, or third thing they look for on a LinkedIn profile. And having more connections make you more visibility. And when you have more than 500, you get that 500 plus. So obviously you're not a newcomer. Obviously you understand how to use LinkedIn. And follow target employers' company pages. There are, I don't know, 800, no, there can't be that many, 200 or 300 million company pages on LinkedIn. If any of those companies are your targets, find those pages and follow them, and also check them out. They will list people who work at that company that you are connected with on LinkedIn, and people you aren't connected with on LinkedIn that maybe you could be connected with on LinkedIn. And of course, they'll also have job postings. But employers are very interested in people who follow the company pages. Good spelling is required, of course, both keywords and credibility. So building your social proof off LinkedIn. Increasing your professional visibility on Google. Review and publish on LinkedIn. As we talked about that, write and publish white papers. You can publish those on LinkedIn. You can publish them on professional association websites as appropriate. start your own blog, answer questions on Medium, answer questions on Quora, make guest posts on various sites. If you want to write for Fast Company, do a Google search on writing for Fast Company, and you'll find a whole bunch of advice and links to the page on Fast Company that tells you how to do it, and the same for Harvard Business Review. Those are great, credible sites to be published on. And post comments on other popular, if you can, reputable and visible websites. And connect each of those examples of your professional visibility to your LinkedIn profile in featured or about or contact or the other sections as appropriate. Your own blog. A WordPress blog can be a lot of work, and it can have a big payoff in credibility. Very few people make a lot of money at it, but that can be done occasionally too. That's the most search engine friendly format. You must write at least weekly on topic, have a relevant topic you're passionate about, and connect it to your LinkedIn profile. So your LinkedIn profile points to your blog and your blog points back. And then promote your blog via social media, Twitter, Facebook, whatever, LinkedIn. Costs $250 to $500 or more a year. It's not real cheap. And the software is updated periodically, which means your website can get screwed up and needs to be fixed. So it's not totally stress-free, but it's very good. Writing product reviews on Amazon. Some employers, particularly of products, love this. Do more than just stars. Write something knowledgeable, thoughtful, insightful, honest, and well written, and you can get amazing visibility from that. And then sometimes people, when you write, you post a review, some people ask questions, and you can answer the questions too. Again, demonstrating your knowledge and your insight. And finally, writing books on Amazon. It sounds intimidating, but of course Amazon makes it easy because, the more books they have, the better. I actually have a friend who's written more than 500 books that she's published on Amazon. And it's called Kindle Direct Publishing, kdp.amazon.com. And this is a direct quote from Amazon: self-publish ebooks and paperbacks for free with Kindle Direct Publishing and reach millions of readers on Amazon. It's not as easy as it sounds. You have to like to write, of course. And you have to promote it inside Kindle, inside Amazon as well. It takes a Word doc or a PDF. I recommend creating a table of contents with the Word doc and do chapters. And the maximum or the minimum is 24 pages. The maximum is probably 300 or 400, but the minimum is 24, so they don't have to be big. And you don't have to charge $10 for them. In fact, you can make them free if you want to. So you've got a lot of options creating visibility with Amazon if writing is something that you like to do. I think with the new AI creating books, Amazon will probably try and figure out how to get rid of the ones that are created by AI, but it's probably going to happen. The most expensive part of this is creating the cover for your book, although KDP does offer you a way to create a free cover that you can do if you want to. I mean, it's certainly a way you could get started. So, managing your visibility, stay on topic regardless of venue. Demonstrate your knowledge, professionalism, and ability to communicate well. Be active and current. And focus on high search engine optimization impact sources like LinkedIn, sources that Google trusts. And when you create new content, add that new visibility to your LinkedIn profile. So, that's it. Oh, and this is me, in case you need to reach out.
So folks, let's give Susan a big virtual round of applause for a wonderful presentation. At this point, Susan will proceed to the Q&A, and I am going to stop the recording. So bear with me 1 second.